Then at Nanda's home in Gokula, jubilant festivities and celebrations were underway. Nothing had to be kept hidden there. In the early morning, when Yashoda's friends arrived and saw that she had given birth, they quickly woke her. Uthi sakhe sab mangal gaay, jagu jasoda tere balak upajyo kuvara kanhai, upajyo kuvara kanhai. They said, "Wake up, Yashoda, you have a baby boy. This is the day you have been waiting for. The day for which you made so many plans and preparations. You had said you would offer charity in many places. Come, get everything started." They reminded her, "Jo tu rachamo sachamo yadena ko." Take out everything that you had saved for this day and distribute it now. तब हासी कहती यशोदा यैसे. Yasoda laughed and replied, "Yes, yes, of course, I will give it. I am not miser." All her friends exclaimed, "Call the father." They said to him, "Pragata bhaya purava tapako phalaha." All the austerities you had practiced earlier have now borne fruit. Come quickly now and see your son. Aaye nanda hasatati avsara ananda urana samai. With boundless delight, Nanda Baba laughed and went with them. It was after many years that a child had been born in their home. Thus it was an even greater cause for celebration. To be blessed with a child, Nanda Baba and Yashoda ji had observed countless vows and performed many types of worship and austerities. All these were now fulfilled with the Lord's advent. A large crowd soon gathered in Nanda Baba's home, which was filled with bliss. Nanda Baba was the king of Gokula, the elder of the village. He had a very big house, which had now become a thoroughfare, where some were coming and some were going. Some were bringing gifts while others were receiving them. For Nanda Baba's queen Yashoda was happily giving gifts to everyone. आजू नंद के द्वारे भीर, आजू नंद के द्वारे भीर, एक आवत एक जात, बिदा है एक मंदिर के तीर. Saint Suradasa ji has written this beautiful verse describing the scene. There was a large gathering in Nanda's home. One was coming while another was going. Everyone wore new clothes for the joyous festivities. एकनिको तुलसी की माला, एकनिको चंदन घासी नीर, सूरदास घनी श्याम सनेही, धन्य जसोदा पुण्य शरीर, धन्य जसोदा पुण्य शरीर, धन्य जसोदा पुण्य शरीर. So Saint Suradasaji said, someone had adorned himself with a tilak of saffron, while another had a tilak of sandalwood. He says, no one left from Nanda Baba's home empty-handed. While someone received clothes, someone received accessories, someone received ornaments, and someone else received flower garlands and tulasi garlands. Someone was eagerly and excitedly waiting, and then Yashoda said to him, Ekani ko rakhata te dhira. Please have a little patience. You will also get to see the baby. So everyone wanted to hold the baby. Just think, all the Gokula and just one baby. How would this be possible? Some had a great longing. Some wanted to swing him in the cradle. Some wanted to keep kissing him, and others wanted to keep hugging him. It was but natural, for Brahman had manifested before them as this beautiful boy who looked like a dark lotus flower. Jasoda hari palane jhulave halrave dulrai malhave joi soi kachu gave. Here also is a Suradasaji's phrase. Yashodaji swung him in his cradle. All those who were working there were making noise. So she signaled to them that her baby was trying to sleep and told them to work quietly. She said, my child is sleepy, yet unable to fall asleep. Why don't you come here? Bhagavan Śrī Kṛṣṇa has a most playful nature. Shukadevaji said, sometimes he would close his eyes to show that he was sleeping. And the moment Mother Yashoda thought he was asleep, he would open his eyes. And then he would huff and puff as if he was restless and unable to sleep. That bliss which even the devas and sages find most difficult to attain was so easily attained by Nanda's wife Yashoda. Shukadevaji said Nanda Baba's heart was overflowing with joy. He bathed and completed his morning purificatory rituals and then dressed and adorned himself. He chanted auspicious mantras. Om Bhūr-bhuvasvaha Tat-savitur-varenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi Dhyo yo na prachodayat. And then completed all the rites related to his son's birth. He gave charity to Brahmins in the form of clothes, ornaments, and cows. He also performed puja for the ancestors and the devas. By the time the gopis arrived, fully decked in lovely clothes and jewels, they went to see the baby and showered their blessings on him. All of them then bathed the child in turmeric, oil and water and sang happy and auspicious songs to him. Nanda Baba's home was filled with jubilation. He gave clothes, cows and other gifts to the gopas as well. He was always most large-hearted. He gave all the workers and laborers whatever they wanted. He simply opened his treasury and said, "Take as much as you wish." This is the point to be noted. Such was Nanda Baba's purity of heart. And It is very clear from here why the Supreme Lord manifested and spent such a long time in their company in Gokula with Nanda Baba and Yashoda and other Gopas and Gopis. It had been only 4 or 5 days since the Lord's arrival when Nanda Baba had to leave for Mathura to pay the annual taxes for Gokula, which was a part of Kamsa's kingdom. It was such a blissful and festive time in Gokula that he did not feel like leaving. But he knew Kamsa's nature, so to keep Gokula in peace, he had to leave for Mathura. But in his heart, he felt very concerned for his son, for he knew that Kamsa was a pure evil. In Mathura, Nanda Baba met Vasudevaji. When they met, they had a beautiful dialogue from which we can learn how people should speak when they meet each other. Vasudevaji did not mention a single word about his grief and difficulties to Nanda Baba. Instead, he said, Nandaji, I learned that you have a new baby in your home. I am so delighted for you in this time of joy. On the other hand, Nanda Baba did not speak a single word about his own happiness. He asked only about Vasudevaji's sorrows and said, how evil Kamsa is. Right after your wedding, he imprisoned you both and killed all your newborns. Nanda Baba did not speak about his own joys, but tried to give solace to Vasudevaji and share in his sorrows. So too, Vasudevaji expressed his joy to share in Nanda Baba's joy. So this is how we should meet with each other, selflessly, with compassion and understanding. Vasudevaji was extremely pure at heart. One who has such a pure mind can tell beforehand what will come to pass. And he said to Nanda Baba, you have paid the taxes, isn't it? So if your work is done here, you should hurry going back to Gokula. Because I do have a feeling that something evil is going to happen in Gokula. Nanda Baba heeded Vasudevaji's advice. As he neared Gokula, he grew tense, knowing that Vasudevaji's words could never be in vain. However, in that very moment, he remembered the Lord and surrendered the responsibility of protection to him. Now, during Nanda Baba's brief absence, a cruel and ruthless she-demon, who was adept in killing children, had been ordered by Kamsa to find and kill the 8th child of Devaki. Her name was Putana, which means one who is impure, or not. Puta means pure. She was a demoness who could fly. So she reached Nanda Baba's house in Gokula in no time. Keep in mind that this was the divine play of Bhagavan Śrī Kṛṣṇa. From the physical standpoint, it may seem that the Lord would merely kill every asura, one after another. However, there are many purposes behind the Lord's divine play, not just one. From the spiritual viewpoint, there were many purposes for this incident. In Rama Avatara, the first Asura the Lord killed was Tadaka, a she-demon. In Krishna Avatara as well, the Lord killed Putana first. Does this mean when the Lord takes an avatar, he always kills a female Asura first? No, this happened because Putana and Tadaka both represent ignorance or avidya. All our sorrows and negative thoughts stem from ignorance. We will see these negative thoughts one by one. However, first ignorance must be removed because it gives birth to and is the cause of all sorrows and vices. This is why Putana and Tadaka were the first to be slain by the Lord. When Putana reached Gokula, she saw grand celebrations and festivities in Nanda Baba's home and discovered that it was all just for one little blue boy. Balam pratichanna nijoru tejasam dadarsha talpignimi vahitam bhasi. Shukadevaji said to Raja Parikshita, the child's brilliance was hidden. It was as if ash was the top covering and below was burning, throbbing cinder. Putana wondered, if all these people are so fixated on this little child, how will I ever get him out of here? So she donned the illusory form of a ravishing, beautiful woman and entered Nanda Baba's home. Now see the enchanting power of Maya. Where everyone had been intently and completely focused on Brahman, the newborn, Putana's Maya instantly charmed them all and their attention became directed to her. They all thought this was Goddess Lakshmi herself appearing before them as a wealthy and noble lady in royal attire. As soon as she entered, Putana began cooing over and doting on the baby. She said, "Oh, what a sweet and darling child it is. I am longing to feed him my milk." Rohiniji, Mother Yashoda and everyone there were so taken by Putana's charm and beauty that they simply stood staring at her without saying a single word. No one even tried to stop her. She coolly went and took the baby in her lap and started breastfeeding him. Vibubdhyatang balakamarikagraham characharatmasa nimilite kshanaha. Shukadevaji said here, the Lord is the self of everything sentient and insentient. He immediately recognized that Putana was a slayer of children, and so on seeing her, he quickly shut his eyes. That the Lord closed his eyes is a topic on which many devotees and poets have given various interpretations. In the text Bhakti Rasayana, there was a beautiful elaboration and illustration and multiple reasons as to why the Lord closed his eyes. The first interpretation goes like this: the Lord closed his eyes because he had already understood that Putana was going to feed him poison. Now, when a child has to take bitter medicines, he always first closes his eyes and then drinks. The Lord thought, okay, I must have to drink it, so let me close my eyes and drink. Thus, because he had to drink something bitter, the Lord closed his eyes. Second interpretation is like this: the Lord thought, in this avatar too, I have to kill a woman first. What a peculiar job is this. Sometimes this kind of work also has to be done. So I might as well close my eyes and finish it. Thinking thus, the Lord closed his eyes. Third interpretation is, Bhagavan thought, in this birth she has not done any good deed at all. So let us see what she did in her earlier life. So, just as we close our eyes before diving into deep thought, the Lord closed his eyes to review Putana's past records. Fourth interpretation. All cosmoses and living beings reside in the Lord. All the jivas became frightened that Putana would feed the Lord poison. They thought if the Lord drank it, they all would suffer horribly and die. To give assurance and comfort to all the jivas, the Lord closed his eyes and said, "Do not worry, I take care of everyone. I alone am the protector of all." Fifth interpretation. Our eyes are the symbols of sun and moon. The sun and moon are the Lord's eyes. These two say to the Lord, Bhagavan, she has not done any prayer or worship. This is why she cannot enter our celestial realm. She will attain neither the world of the ancestors nor the world of the devas. Saying this, both of them closed their doors to her. This is why the Lord's eyes were shut. However, if the Lord wants to give someone something, who can stop him from doing so? Ultimately, he gave moksha even to a demon like Putana. The sixth interpretation. Śrī Kṛṣṇa thought, if I keep my eyes open, one of two things can happen. Either I will look at her with great love or great anger. If I look at her with love, she will become pure. If I look at her with anger, she will burn. So in both cases, the desire that she has to feed me her milk will remain unfulfilled. So the Lord said, very well, I will close my eyes. So these are the interpretations on the Lord closing his eyes. Putana had smeared halahala, a deadly poison, on her breasts. When she began feeding the Lord forcibly, Lord angrily held her breasts tightly in his little hands and squeezed them strongly until she was writhing in pain. Then along with the milk, he started sucking the very life out of her. Frantically, Putana screamed and begged to let her go. But the Lord said, once I catch hold of someone, I never let them go. Her feverish screams became terrifying, and in the end, when she could not bear the pain any longer, her body returned to its true demoniac form and her life breath left her body. Her body looked like a massive mountain, and her nails looked like dark caves. On seeing that huge Rakshasa body, all the people of Vraja were horrified. And the gopis see in the far and high distance that their little blue boy happily and comfortably playing on top of the demon's dead body. Mother Yashoda rushed to gather her son in her arms and tightly embraced him. She asked, "Are you all right, my child? I hope nothing has happened to you." She inspected him from head to toe, limb to limb. Rohini and the gopis then joined Yashoda in performing rituals to ward off every omen and evil eye from their little Krishna, including waving a cow tail around him and bathing him in filtered cow urine, which is considered an auspicious purifier. Indriyani hrishikesh pranannārāyaṇo vatu shvetadvipapatiṣṭhittam mano yogeshvaro vatu. Having cleansed him through various rituals, they chanted the Lord's many names and prayed for the protection of the child's every limb. They said, "May Lord Hrishikesha protect the saint's organs. May Lord Narayana protect the pranas." It was then Nanda Baba reached Gokula. He was awestruck when he saw Putana's massive dead body. The Gopas moved her body from where it had fallen. In order to purify the area, they covered it with cow dung and chanted mantras while sprinkling over it holy water from sacred places of pilgrimage. They then cut and burned Putana's body in pieces. To everyone's astonishment, a wonderfully pleasing fragrance emerged from her body when they burnt it. What is the reason for that? Because the Lord had drunk her milk, all her sins had been destroyed that very instant. Jighangsyapi haraye stanang dattapa sadgatim King punah shraddhaya bhakta Krishnaya Paramātmane yatu dhanyapi sa swargamavapa janani gatim Krishna bhuktastana kshira kimu gavo numataraha. So Shukadevaji said, Putana had gone to feed Bhagavan poison. But Bhagavan gave her the status of a mother. Shukadevaji continued, the one who had come to feed him poison is the one to whom the Lord gave the status of a mother. So think what he would do for Yashodaji who had fed him a mother's pure milk. What would he give to the cows who had fed him their milk? The Lord redeems even those who come to kill him. So what would he not do for those who love him? Indeed, the Lord verily becomes a devotee's servant. He stands at their beck and call, asking what more he can do for them. Shukadevaji said, anyone who listens to his divine Leela, this Leela of the moksha of Putana, verily attains love for God. Tasmat kena pyupayena mana Krishne niveshayet. Sri Shukadevaji said, this beautiful declaration he made here, by whatsoever means, absorb your mind in God through devotion. When Nanda Baba and other Gopas returned from Mathura and learned about the entire incident, they struck with terror. Nanda Baba immediately remembered Vasudevaji's forewarning and first asked, is my son safe? He ran to him, lifted him in his arms, smelled his head as a sign of good fortune, and showered him with kisses and hugs. He had this child late in the life, so his loving concern was particularly more. Tasmat kena pyupayena mana कृष्णे निवेशयेत् मनः कृष्णे निवेशयेत् मनः कृष्णे निवेशयेत्